In this video, traders, we're going to look at 6 steps to building your perfect trading strategy, a step-by-step guide to building your strategy. Stay tuned. Hey traders, a very warm welcome to you. So, building a trading strategy, we'll go on about, yeah, you need a strategy, you need this, you need that. Very many traders do not have a strategy. If that's you, this is the time to change that. We are going to build your trading strategy from the ground up using these 6 steps in this video. Okay, so first of all, number 1, we need a core theme to the strategy. And that is an overall thing of, hey, I want to be jumping onto trends. I want to be fading extreme moves. I want to look for catalysts after earnings. There's just a broad, we're not getting too defined now, but we're broadly saying, hey, I want to trade the opening drive in so market. Or not getting too broad with the markets yet. Opening drive, closing period, whatever it may be. I'm swing trading currency pairs, I'm swing trading stocks. The broad theme around it so that you can start with some narrowing of the boundaries. And you'll see that's what we're trying to do with this trading strategy, is narrow and narrow and narrow until we've got something that we can literally plug into a market. So the core theme, the broad theme we've got around it. All right, number 2, we're going to select the market. So if the core theme is, hey, I want to trade the open of the index futures via a spread bet, for example, we'd say, okay, I'm going to trade the DAX from 8 o'clock in the morning when the bell goes at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to trade the Dow from 2:30 when that opens, and maybe I'm going to be brave enough to trade the Japanese or the Nikkei if I can trade that. But you get the point. You're starting to narrow stuff down. I'm going to trade tech stocks only. I'm going to trade USD, JPY, GBP, USD, Euro, USD, whatever it may be. You're starting to narrow it down. The important thing is, guys, the theme and selecting your market. Well, market's fine, or markets. I've said this before, always have less markets than you think. If you feel uncomfortable, you think you're too narrow, that's perfect. You don't want to be too wide and be trading too much stuff at once. All right, number 3, decide on the time frame. So you should know already or have a good feel, hey, am I a day trader type of guy, a girl? Am I a swing trader? What's my time frame? Do I want to trade on a kind of 3-minute, 1-minute hyper focused? Do I want to trade swing, but I want to make intraday trading decisions, i.e. 4-hour or 1 hour? So I'm looking for those turns intraday that I'm going to hold for multiple days, or I'm going to hold stuff longer and I only want to look at daily charts at the close. Work out how you want to do it, because again, we're trying to define who you are as a trader and build a strategy around it. And that's important, because once you define that, you're not going to start flicking around from a 3-minute to a 1-minute to a 10-hour. Okay, you might use those to make a decision, but you know the time frame you're going to look at and going to approach and what your trigger time frame is going to be. All right, number 4, define the entry and exit criteria. Arguably, this is the most important one of the lot, because this is going to define whether we have a profitable strategy or not. So this isn't a video about running through all the strategies. Subscribe to the channel, check out all other videos that I've done about different trading strategies, getting on trends, fading reversals, candlestick patterns, and pick and choose and play around with them as you see fit. But the point is, you need to define when you're getting in, when you're exiting. Example, I'm looking to get on board explosive trend moves at the open. That's your core theme. I'm going to trade the DAX. Let's continue with that example. And the time frame is going to be a 3-minute time frame, 1-minute intraday, kind of that kind of stuff. Keeping it nice and low. And my entry and exit criteria are going to be, hey, I'm going to wait to see an explosive move off the open and a trend. I'm going to quantify that with whatever it may be, ADX, moving average, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to wait for a pullback of 3 bars. Then I'm going to take the bullish engulfing trend pullback strategy, or I'm going to take the pullback to the 20 period strategy, or whatever it is. The point is, here is where you get granular. Here is where you have your suggestion. Here is where you start to define your play. Another one, let's use one more example, intraday example, bit of a longer term example. Hey, the price has been trending all day long. I'm going to identify price that's been trending all day long in any of the indices or commodities or major currency pairs. Those are my list of markets. My core theme is to jump on a broad intraday trend. Okay, trending all day long. I'm now going to buy the first oversold condition on a stochastic, on a 15-minute chart, 3-minute chart, whatever it may be. Just throw an example out there. you're starting to bring the strategy in, you're starting to tighten things up, you're starting to give yourself entry criteria. Filters, triggers, bang, I'm in. What's my exit criteria? I know where my stop is going to be. It's going to be below the low. My exit for the profit is going to be at the high or at the close. Starting to jot down stuff. You don't need to go overboard with it, but you just need to start to bring in a theory, an idea, a trading strategy. This is when it gets bolted in. This actual entry and exit criteria, the trigger, the filter gets bolted into it at this point. Right, number 5, now we evaluate the system. Now we have that, we have our idea. And by the way, you can create many of these, or you can create many that are very similar. So you can say, hey, I'm going to trade trends, but I also want to try shorter term trends, longer term trends. I think it's best to separate them out as best as you can so that you can quantify and qualify the success of each and tweak and adapt without bundling all into one. All right, so evaluate the system. This is, if you want to back test it, fine. If you're a back testing person, that's cool. That's fine by me. Do what you need to do. If you want to forward test it, that's good also. It's personal preference. I like to just trade something. I have an idea. I'll trade it. I might have seen it visually, and that's why I've got the idea from watching the market. Then I will trade it small, forward test it. For me, I don't have to have that long until I get confidence in it, and then I'll have a go at it. I'll have a trade at it. I'll go for it. As long as my risk is quantified, that's the main thing. I'm happy to have a go at the trade. And as the more confident I get into it, the more cash I'll allocate to it, the more capital I'll allocate to it. So start to evaluate the system. Start to then see how it's performing. And then the important part, guys, is refine and adjust. You know, I've told the story before. If you're a subscriber, you know, I was day trading very frequently or very actively the Dow many years ago, and I would have a stop loss of kind of 10 ticks. That was about right for then, but I was always getting stopped out, and the system and strategy was sound and it was working okay, but I just kept getting stopped. I thought, all right, I feel like this is right. I need to evaluate, and evaluated the system. And long story short, I ended up widening the stop a little bit, and that was enough to turn it into a much better, higher quality system. Just an example, guys. It's all about refining and adjusting. Don't throw something away just because you don't think that you make any progress with it. Take it and say, well, look, here's all the results from multiple trades. What is the common denominator here? There isn't really. All right, I can discard it. Or actually, you know what? If I just tweak this and tweak that and tweak that, I might have a good, decent system there. So there's your 6-step guide, guys. Your core theme, understanding what you're doing, selecting your market is very important. Your time frame, important. Defining your entry and exit criteria, so your filters and your triggers to take the trade. Evaluating the system as it's performing, or back testing if you prefer to do that. And finally, refining and adjusting. And if you can do that multiple times with multiple systems, don't go crazy so you're overloaded, but then you'll have start to develop a nice library, a nice trading arsenal that you can use and say, hey, you know what? This system works very well in trading environments. Take it, bolt it into a trending market, trade it, make some money. This system works very well in a range-bound environment. Plug it in. You've got a plug-and-play strategy for a whole broader trading plan that you can use. All right, guys, thumbs up if you like this kind of stuff. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.